I used to argue this with Pentecostals when I was like young, like we were arguing about comic books or something. And I'll go, and I still don't get, he goes, I and the Father are one. Okay. Is that what I'd say if I was my dad? Like, why would he just go, I'm God? Why would you say it in such bizarre ways?
Right.
If I'm getting an impression there's some succession or there's a position here.
There's a little bit of separation. The same guy. Yeah, there's a little bit of separation for sure.
And I really don't see, but let's say it's three guys in one that are somehow different but the same. Okay. I don't understand how my salvation would depend on me believing that or not. Do you know what I mean? Like when you see the amount of consternation
makes
about
no
it.
sense. Yeah.
Because the whole point of Christ, from what I could tell, is to get you out of your slave bondage you're born into here, right?
Right.
That's it. They sacrificed the wrong guy.
Salvation.
All these people sacrifice their kids, all these rulers. It's a standard practice for years and years to take your firstborn, your first fruits, and sacrifice them to whatever weirdo Baal you worship. So,
yeah.
But that's all because humans are, and these little, this is why I can't stand like clever Satanist types with their little, I hate tricky bullshit people so much. Like, well, technically no one's innocent. It's all that legalism shit. And to me, the whole story is, if you want to believe in it, or what would appeal to me about it is these assholes that business as usual, and then they do that. They gotta get a sting operation into killing a guy that legally they had no recourse to kill, and there's no getting out of it for them. So now it's a legal loophole for all of us under the serpent people. That's how I take it. So there's no other part of the doctrine that I. Also, I don't care about his mom like that.
That's a fair assessment. Jesus is like a loophole in the system.
Yeah, and so I just go off of themes, and it's a theme in a lot of things, but like I don't care about your goddamn lineage, everyone, and your stupid world. I hate kings, and I hate bloodline and all that dumb shit. I mean, you could blame it on lizard people, but lizards don't do this. This is real monkey shit.
Yeah,
it really is.
It really is.
Maybe dinosaurs do. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
But did you, because you grew up in that church thing, was it like a big Trinity thing with you growing up? Like,
yeah,
like an evil God made the world, and that's not really how the story started out. The story, it was fine, and then some whatever snake thing came in and dicked around and tricked someone with the mind of a child.
Right.
And so that's it. Almost seems like a scam to get you out of your body so I could hijack it and go have a ball. Because I think there's a lot of dead things that want to be alive things,
Right. That's how a lot of people saw it. That's how you get these Gnostic groups to begin with. They're trying to wrestle with this idea that, like, how could a perfect creator who's all knowing, all loving, all powerful, blame his own creation for mistakes that he made? They're thinking these ways.
That's how I thought about it for quite a long time, but I had like all this initiation shit. And again, I keep bringing up Tracy Twyman, but I think she had great insights in this shit. Eve gets initiated into like street smarts by the serpent. Now, you were talking about before about where they change Penelope's her chastity from like she was like I waited until and she didn't fucked everybody, and that
the original version, right?
They did that with Eve. I mean, they did it with Adam and Eve, I guess, right? Yeah. They had it where they all have a side piece out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and Eve is.
They start writing these new versions of the story. You start getting different versions later on.
What do you think that tree of knowledge thing refers to? Like the best I got is that marshmallow thing, but I don't think it's sex. I really just don't believe that.
Here's what I think. I think the point of the story is that humans are cursed with consciousness. When you see a squirrel running around jumping from tree to tree, that squirrel is just thinking about eating the next nut, right? They're not thinking about my uncle is going to pass away in a couple months because he's old. They're not thinking about like the universe, or like we have this ability to think really deeply about things. It's a curse though, because we're always thinking about, oh, my loved ones are going to pass away. What am I going to do when my grandfather passes away? It's it's a burden that we carry because we're so knowledgeable. So I think the tree of knowledge is you take a bite of knowledge and you get really smart, and
you have to carry a thing that you can't.
You're cursed. You're literally you're cursed with death because now you're aware of death.
Right.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
So
right.
I think that's what it means.
But I mean, like, is there a tree, or is it like all that Kabbalah shit? Because if you were like 5-dimensional, right, looking at me, I bet I would look like some kind of weird immobile tree that can only move one direction. You know,
there's like Talmud verses that say it's a pomegranate, and the reason why I think whatever Jewish rabbi wrote that, the reason why I think they're saying that is because in ancient Greek mythology, the pomegranate is the forbidden fruit that Persephone is told not to take a bite of.
Yeah, I've heard that too. And she goes, that's, you reminded me. So because you ate the food of the dead, you can't leave the kingdom of the dead, right?
Can't leave the king of the dead.
So do you think there's a thing of
so
even death is degrees?
Stuck in Hades, Adam and Eve are kicked out of paradise. It's like a mirror. They're mirroring each other. One of them gets stuck in Hades. The other one gets kicked out of paradise. They both have consequences for eating the fruit.
No, it's the same kind of theme. And then that says to me, because paradise and Hades probably are very relative terms, I imagine.
Yeah.
And I say it's a joke, but I kind of think there's something to it that maybe death is a spectrum, like gender. Or maybe it is, death is not as either or as you think. And they went from goes, the day you eat of it, you will die. And then you'll hear people point out, but she didn't die. They lived for like another 900 years or something.
Yeah.
So
you can imagine how many people were telling stories that were a little bit more like emphasizing certain things decades down the road. And then that gets picked up by someone else. And then and then you can see the difference between Mark and John, the Gospels, how there's a progression. They call it Christology. It's like basically how divine in Jesus, the level of divinity. And Mark's gospel, he's divine. Don't get me wrong. He's the Son of God, but he's not like the God. And then you get to John's gospel. He's literally the Logos incarnate who was there in the beginning with the Father.
Okay, but wait. If he's there in the beginning with the Father, that's still, I'm not hearing that he's God. I used to get in these arguments, by the way, and I want everybody to know, I don't give a shit about how many heads you think God had. But I used to argue this with Pentecostals when I was like young, like we're arguing about comic books or something. And I'll go, and I still don't get, he goes, I and the Father are one. Okay. Is that what I'd say if I was my dad? Like, why would he just go, I'm God? Why would you say it in such bizarre ways?
Right.
If